What's up, YouTube? I just finished reading chapter 1, and now I'm going to lesson 2. Yeah, buddy. Basically, this is a continuation of part 1, and the reason here explain why people actually get a job and stuff like that. The rich dad actually explained to Robert the reason why people get jobs and things like that and work is because of two things. It's because of fear and greed. Fear because they're scared of not having enough money to pay their bills and stuff like that. And basically he said greed as either desire, like a desire to want something and things like that. He's like, the reason people also work is to like buy things, like buy something expensive, something they want, and things like that. And he told them, the reason why I'm not paying you is because of that. He's like, because then you're a slave. You're working for money. You're a slave instead. He even told them, he even tempted them. He was gonna say, how about it? How about you get a raise of 25 cents? Back in that day, that was like pretty good. He's like, whoa, that's a lot of money. And then he even said $1. He even went up to $5 a week every Saturday. He was like, whoa, that's a lot of money. The kid was like, whoa, that's more than some people even make back in the day in a single job. And they were like, they stood quiet. They stood quiet the whole time because they didn't let their emotions get to them. Instead of thinking with their emotions did the thinking. Wait, hold up. Did I say that right? I don't even know if I said that right. But I know it's like, you can't let your emotions, you can't think with your emotions. You can't think with your emotions. Your emotions you have to think with your emotions, not your emotions think for you. There we go. So it's like, and he also said the first step to this is be truthful to yourself. He's like, always be truthful to yourself. He's like, don't lie to yourself. He's like, the reason is like, a lot of people are true to them inside, but they lie to themselves at the same time. They lie. They know what to do, but they lie to themselves inside. They say, once they're out of money, like they're short of money to pay their bills or something, they're like, oh snap, let me get a second job. But they don't stop and think, is that really the best solution? They don't stop and think about that. They just probably get the second job anyway. And it's like, this it's just getting really good. This book is amazing. It opened up my head. And he's like, just to cut it off short, he's like, don't let fear and greed get to you. And even a perfect example that he even said is like, this guy was doing something, right? And the rich dad pulled out the dollar. He's like, oh, here, you can have it. And the guy went over there and got it. He's like, the rich dad said, he's just like the rest of my employees. Oh, like just wanting greed for desire, because he got the money just to be joyful. Because people think that money is going to bring you joy, but it's really not. It's only short term. It's a short-term solution for a long-term problem. It's like that job, having a job is a short-term solution for a long-term problem. He even went to say that some of the rich people, the reason they get rich is because out of fear. It's because the fear of not having a lot of money, of the fear of being poor again, the fear of losing it all, the fear of losing a big house, the fear of losing their bedrooms, the fear of everything. Instead of, they don't stop and think. He's like, look, I'm gonna read something here. He's like, he even went to say that a lot of people, they make excuses like this here. It says, look, come here and turn right here. He's like, this is repeated throughout history. He's like, America is heading down that route too. They just keep going down again and down, and we don't learn from history. He's like, that's why we have stuff like that. That's why we go through crisis. And the reason also, he also said, the reason why a lot of nations are in crisis is because the ignorance of money, not knowing what money is. Because school doesn't really teach you it. They just teach you how to work for money, be a slave to money. Because that's what you're doing. You're being a slave. And even if you're rich, let's say you work and you got rich working, right? You're just a highly paid slave instead of money working for you. He even went to say that money's not even real. Money is made up. And he even gave the kids the idea. The kids got an idea, right? Because the dad's like, I hope you guys learned something at the end of this, like at the end of this talk. And you know what? They did learn something. The thing they learned is that when they saw this, they were passing by a comic book store and they saw this lady tearing up this package of comics, and she would only keep the box but throw away the comics. And then what they would do is like, oh snap, there it is. They went to the guy that owns the comic book store, and they're like, yo, what can we do something with these comics? And the guy's like, yeah, sure. The only thing you gotta work for this store, and you can't resell them. But in the meaning, they were like, oh, okay. So what they did, they had a really bright idea. These two kids, really bright idea. They even brought along a third person just to work for them. The idea that they had was they were gonna get those comics, and people could come there for 2 hours, from 2:30 to 4:30, and read all the comics book they want for like, I forgot the prices, but for a certain amount of range. But the only thing I know is that on Saturdays they would, no, not on Saturdays, they would do that for the week, and they will make $9.50 a week, $9.50 a week, and that's what they did. But eventually they had to shut down because of bullies and stuff like that. And basically, what this whole thing, what I had to say is like, don't let fear, greed take over. He's like, that's the reason people work for money, because they're scared of losing their job, they're scared of not paying their bills, or they just desire to want something. That's why the rich dad made them work for free. And that's why he tempted them to see if they would fall or not. And yeah, this book is getting really good. And if you guys like this review, comment down below and like this video. And yeah, I'll probably, and it's really late, it's like 12:52, it's almost 1 o'clock. And I just finished reading because I ate and I came back. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.